In order to understand Woodward, you have to understand the Glazers. Woodward brokered the deal to enable the Glazers to buy Manchester United in a leveraged buyout. So he was always their man, but he's not a football man. He's a rugby man. Ed Woodward's disastrous reign at Manchester United is finally over, but it doesn't look like they've learned anything. They've appointed Richard Arnold, a man of a very similar mould. Ed Woodward's tenure can be described as nothing short of farcical. From him rushing out of pre-season tours to go and say I've got urgent transfer business and then nothing to materialise. From his inability to secure Manchester United's top targets, David Moyes complained about his Mourinho, Van Gaal have all complained about his inability to get transfers over the line. And also, when you hire and fire managers, when you fire a manager 2 years after you've hired them, that's on you because you've hired that manager. And yet Woodward there was very little ramifications of his tenure, and actually also giving huge contracts to managers less than a year before sacking them, and in some cases less than months before sacking them. Woodward's been a disaster for United, but in order to understand Woodward, you have to understand the Glazers. Woodward brokered the deal to enable the Glazers to buy Manchester United in a leveraged buyout. So he was always their man, but he's not a football man. He's a rugby man. He doesn't know anything about football, insofar as the technical aspects of it. And also, he's also power hungry. He wanted to retain power at all points and decide the direction of the club due to his ego and due to Joel Glazer's ego, and it's not worked. And the past 10 years has been Man City's era. Man City have overtaken us, and it's not just the money. Any United fan who thinks that it's just the money, unfortunately, needs to look across at Liverpool. Liverpool don't have the financial power that Man City have, but Liverpool have the prestige, and they've also got very, very, very clever management. United have the prestige and more money than Liverpool, but very, very, very poor management. And people like Woodward, they're living in the past. They're living in an era that means that United every year are falling further and further and further behind. And he's overseen huge spending upon players, and a lot of those players have failed, and you can say it's the manager, but I don't think that's true. I think he's blocked transfers and he's intervened in transfers. And what qualifies Woodward to buy anybody? It doesn't. He's got no qualification, nor's Joel Glazer. And really, a lot of the things that Jose Mourinho said, as unsavoury as Mourinho was at the end, he wasn't wrong. And overall, his tenure has been a disaster, and he's only resigned due to the European Super League, because he would still be there if he'd not been the architect of the Super League. And he's the fall guy for the Glazers, because essentially the Glazers were the architects of the European Super League, along with that idiot at Real Madrid. So nothing's going to change until Glazer ownership changes. Richard Arnold is one of the same. And actually, in my view, United are doomed. United are in big trouble. Forget the debt, because that's obviously like a different question, and that's hugely worrying for Manchester United. United don't have the expertise in the football club to get anywhere near Man City. And Roy Keane's right about the players. And actually, player recruitment's the single biggest thing. And United are nowhere near City and nowhere near Liverpool or Chelsea. And they won't be. I assure you of that. That's the sad reality. And if you disagree with me, comment below. But you're wrong. Unless the Glazers leave and a new structure's put in place, United have finished. What do you think?